Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's Ketch from Rockafella Racing. We're back tonight for the JSM evaluation race number 2. This is the final one before a new season starts. Championship season at JSM, and we're also starting one at SFR, so pretty exciting news there. We'll have 3 events starting Sunday night at SFR, 3 last main events to kind of get everybody ready, and then finally on the 6th of June we will start our official season or championship rather for ACC, and JSM will be starting a little bit prior to that, and we're both working in collaboration with each other to actually help fill the grids for each other. So with that out of the way, as you guys can see on the screen here, there's a track Spa. Okay, love the track, but if you remember what happened last Wednesday, I haven't been on actually since last Wednesday. Today was the first day. But if you remember what happened last Wednesday, it actually shows you that part right here is actually our Rouge into Radeon when the Lamborghini helicopter 360'd and killed us. So yeah, there was that, which really stunk. But tonight is going to be, like I said, the evaluation race, and there's a lot of new drivers in here. Some seasoned drivers, some new drivers. What I think I decided to do here is go with the white for JSM and the green for SFR and SOP, but we'll see. So let me type this in here for the server and we'll get into some things here. I want to explain some things to everybody too, because tonight's conditions are actually really, really difficult here.
Well, that's great.
Let's see if this works. Yeah, that works. Okay. So, tonight, everybody. The track is going to be what you call damp/greasy. Okay.
Go.
Let me lower these headphones here a little bit here. Okay. All right. So hopefully everybody in the chat, what's up, everybody? Good luck. I'm gonna mute the chat if you could hear me. Okay, so we'll get that out of the way. So if you look, I'm just gonna do this real quick, so we can look outside the car. We got to come back in here again now because the connection kicked us out. Another downside to console on ACC. It doesn't really do it that often, to be honest with you, but I mean, it's gotten better. I never really get kicked out myself, but what JSM does and is going to be doing through their whole series is limited tire sets, just 3, because that's what the real Block Pun series runs. You only have 3 sets of tires throughout the course of the weekend. So on Friday, you get 1 set of tires to use and practice with. On Saturday, qualifying happens. You get another set of tires. And then in the race, usually it's actually 4. Sometimes it could change. But, you know, with it being 3, what happens here is that makes you having to practice on 1 set, and then he just reset the server, so because there's 16 minutes here left, so I guess that's what happened. But so what is going on here? They really must keep on resetting the server here. There's supposed to probably be like 15 minutes of qualifying left. I mean, free practice before qualifying happens. So that's on their end. He's resetting the server basically as we speak here. So let's see here. So yeah, so what happens is through JSM, what they're going to be doing is it's going to be 3 sets of tires. So you have to practice during the free practice if you can make it. It's usually going to last an hour during the championship season, and then 15 minutes for qualifying, and then however long the race is. Usually the sprint races are 60 minutes. Some of the endurance races are 2 hours. Ours at SFR are going to be 60 minutes, and it's going to be 100-minute endurance races. There's only 2 of them, and we're going to have a 6-round series at SFR. But getting back to here with JSM, it's trying to teach these drivers some race etiquette. A lot of them have it, don't get me wrong, but we're going to try and make it feel like for them what it's like to have pressure on you, and really try and see what they can handle. Now, like I said, I was going to go into drive so you could see here. Okay, right now it is not raining out here, so let's take a look at the track conditions here, what they are up here. Okay, so it's kind of on randomized, so there's a chance that it will rain, and there's a chance that maybe it won't rain. Right now, if you look up on the top left corner, you see the clouds. It says 10 minutes, and then there's 30 minutes, and that's showing that what's going to happen in the next 30 minutes, basically. Now, once 30 minutes is over, you see the running clock up there is at 27. So once 30 minutes is over, the qualifying session can begin, and it could still be dry out, and then when the race starts, it could actually be wet. Okay, so we have a setup here. We have a few setups here, but let me take you through what I'm going to explain to some people here, that may be watching this, that may not know what to do in greasy conditions. And as you can see there, to the top left, you see the top right, you see the time running down, you see the temperature, you see the cloud. Those little clouds are going to tell you, like, if it was going to rain, there would be little sprinkles of showers coming down. If it's cloudy or sunny, there's like a sun. So that's how you indicate it. And the track is fast, so we really want to see optimal. That's always what you want to see. But if a track gets greasy or wet or damp, it never really becomes optimal. And like I've said in the past, when it's raining out and the rubber is shedding off your tires, it becomes even worse as opposed to like a dry racing line, because now that becomes like a slick oil. And that's why sometimes in real life you'll see the drivers come off the main racing line. But let's take a look at what we have set up here. Okay, so let's get in here, and you can see I have a lot of different things going on here, and this isn't all for just this race. This is for this is basically for this is basically for a dry setup and a bunch of other things, but a dry setup, and you can see here damp, light, rain, and I put the temperature that it is on the track and then the amount of time. So if we load this here, okay, a lot of people get confused and they think that so let me just start with this. When it's damp, when the track is damp or greasy out, you do not need wet tires, because it's just like a light drizzle, and with wet tires, they will heat up so fast that you'll wind up bubbling them and blistering them, and before you know it, you just can't drive on them anymore, and you'll be all over the place. And in real life, you get punctures and your race is over, and that could happen in Assetto Corsa as well. It really mimics that with the tire pressures. So wet tires are completely out of the question when the track is damp or greasy. Okay, so that leaves you on slicks. So what happens when you're on slicks and the track is damp or greasy? I really wish we were actually going to get that, because that's what it was for a while in the other practice server. But what happens is that your tires will turn basically ice blue, and they never really generate the heat in them, and you always really want them to be green. As you've seen all the other races we've had, you want them to be green. But a lot of people get confused and they think, okay, so it's raining and my tires are cold and they're turning blue, so let me pump up the pressures in my tires and that'll give me better. Hey, you finally did it, cuz. Oh my god, that's great. Thank God. There he is, Bugs, my man, Pots and Pans. He finally did it. He finally did it. Alright then. Alright then. We'll see. We're going to see here now. Look out. He's going to take over the chat, everybody. So yeah, so I'm just explaining the difference here now of what happens. Man, I'm so happy that you actually got the channel. That's great. It's my cousin Bug, so if he says anything out of his mind, hold that against him. But no, the chat's fine. You guys can do whatever you want. So yeah, so what I'm doing here is I'm trying to explain here. Laugh out loud, bro. I'm trying to explain here the difference between greasy and damp versus rain. When it's full rain and the track would be reading up there instead of optimum, and it would be reading wet, you're going to come in here and you're going to choose wet tires, obviously, okay? And it's just wet, and then you just got to deal with the wet. But when it's dry like this, okay, what you need to do is, or I should say greasy, or basically greasy or damp, is what you need to do is the best idea is to run front brakes 3. Now, a 60-minute race, you're going to want to run pads, the front brakes, at 1, because that's basically for like an hour stint, maybe a little bit more. Pads 2, they're more durable. That's for like an endurance race. They could last almost like 8 to 10, 12 hours, depending. Pads 3 is for the rain, okay? And pads 4 is very, very, like, they will be burnt out within 5 laps, and you'll have no brakes left. So what pads 3 does is, when you come over here, so now you got pads 3. When you come over here, you know, you could play around with your mechanical grip and everything and that sort of stuff, but not to get too complicated with that and the dampers. When you come over here to your arrow, this is where your brake ducts can become open. You can go all the way to 6 if, say the temperature was 50 degrees Celsius. You don't want to run shut brake ducts, because you're going to get too much heat in there. But when you're running on a damp, wet track and you need to run slicks, you'd be running something like 0. Now, every car could vary, but I would have 0 in the back for the Ferrari and 1 in the front. And what happens is, if we actually get to see some wet weather and greasy weather, you'll get to see it. What'll happen is my brakes will turn, the front can actually turn yellow, then they'll turn red from generating so much heat, and then from that point they'll start to cool off a little bit. But that actually is what helps keep your tire pressure up. And you always want your tire pressure to be at that, when you're running slicks, you want them to be at that 27.5 to 27.7-ish area. When you're running wets, you want them to be at 29.7 to like 30.3. And if you have them wrong, they'll start to bubble up. And that's where a lot of people get confused, is they'll say, okay, well, I'll jack my tire pressures up, and they'll be running at like 29 on slicks. That's not what you want to do. Slick tires are always going to be pressured at 27.5 to 27.7. that's what they're meant to be at. And also, if you screw around with that too much, you mess up your ride height, and your tires have a bubble in them, so when you're stopping, you're going to be understeering and oversteering like crazy. And the same thing goes for wets. So wet tires, if it was fully wet out, you would be using the 29.7 to 30.3 ish. We'll see that tomorrow, because I have a race at Paul Ricard, and it's going to be raining. It's just going to be straight up raining, a decent amount of rain, and we're going to have wet tires on. So now that this is screwing us here and not giving us what we want, it could switch at the last minute. So like I said, after this free practice, it could switch, and we might actually be in the rain in qualifying, or right when the race is about to start, we might be in the rain. So that's why it's crucial to have a setup for both type of things here. So if I back out of here and I go back into my setup here, okay, I'm gonna now choose a completely dry setup, because the track is just dry out. So we're gonna choose this setup, which I believe we went off of. And let me just check this out here. So you see I have tire set 1, I have brake pads, now I got front pads 1 in here. And if we come over here, now you can see I'm running brake ducts 2 to the front and 1 to the rear. So now you can see the difference here, okay? And my tire pressures are a lot less, because it's going to get me to that point where it's going to reach 27.5. I don't need that much heat generated, and I don't need to use pads 3. So everybody's running out there. Let's see what we can do here, and we'll see what we got going on here for 17 minutes. And maybe the track, like I said, by the time the track actually gets to qualifying, or by the time it gets to the actual race, maybe it'll be raining. Let's see. I'll let this guy go. Screw up his first turn here. Okay. In the GTR, Mr. Falcon. Now guys, I was going to try the Aston, I really was. Now obviously you see how cold my tires are right now? So like that'll be like a lot worse if it's damp. They would be like a blue right now. Okay, and then it takes like a good few laps to start to really like heat them up and get that heat in them. So you can see it's really cloudy out. And when the server for ACC, when you set it for realistic and dynamic weather, you really don't know what it's going to do. So it could really do anything. Look at the clouds in the distance there. So it certainly looks like it's going to rain. I mean, so we could probably have that.
Yellow flag, watch out.
Also, everybody, I gotta say, thank you so much to Timmy. He ordered a piece for me for a new PC that I just bought. It's gonna be here at the end of the month. So Tim, I'm coming over to get it. Get that piece tomorrow. Appreciate it. But yeah, guys, I bought a PC, but I'm not going anywhere on console just yet. So we're still going to be playing on console. We'll set the stream up first to get that all ready, and then we'll take a look at, you know, moving to PC eventually to be playing the Sims, the ACC on the Sim. Now keep in mind, I'm running full fuel right now, so certain guys might be running qualifying fuel. But with this, we got to keep in mind, I can only use 3 sets of tires. So remember that I actually went out on. What we have to remember is I went out on dry 2. So dry 2 is my practice tire. dry 1 will be my qualifying tire, and then the pit stop will be dry 3. You don't have to do it in that order. I mean, you could do 7, 8, 9 if you wanted to, or 47, 48, 49. I mean, but you can only use 3. That's basically the bottom line. Now, when I come out, I like to do qualifying laps here. I mean, well, running laps to see what I need to do to adjust my tire pressures, because I'll probably, you see that they're a little bit low, but remember, I always tell you that the Ferrari takes a little bit longer to heat up than some of the other cars. And we're not actually going to put a qualifying time in tonight, because we want to get these guys to... We're probably just going to start at the back and work our way up. So we see...
This is me, your personal best.
We see, you know, we're running like pretty quick times with full fuel here.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
See, there's me, there's Jimmer.
Car on the left.
And the Bentley.
Clear on the left.
Jimmer's a fast driver. I still haven't figured out there if 4th gear is quicker than 3rd gear. 3rd gear, it starts to come into it a little slower, but exit pretty good. And I love this track. This track is so awesome. I don't know if Jimmer's going to start at the back either with me or not, but if we start at the back, it's going to be very hard to get to first place, but we'll try to get a podium. And, you know, put pressure on the guys, but the proper pressure, you know. We're not going to go trying to overtake them like crazy. But see, we're at 27.2 in the front left, 27.3.
Yellow flag in sector 3.
So we're a tad bit low. And I broke way too deep. But we're a tad bit low there. And that's the other thing, guys. The Bentley, this track is another one, like, kind of like Silverstone was. This track is pretty outstanding for the Bentleys. And Bentleys have superior tire degradation. Their tires last forever, so they can go and that it's obviously the car is a boat is the nickname, the Boatly. It holds the most fuel as well, so not only does it have great tire deg, but it holds the most fuel too. So in endurance races, the Bentley could really go for a long time. And Jamer's a really good driver too. Okay, so our front right is pretty good, but our left can come up a little bit. See, as we start to drop fuel.
Well done, mate. Personal fastest lap.
We're getting even quicker and quicker. Man, I really was hoping that the track would become damp and greasy, and maybe it will, because a lot of the new drivers would have a nightmare with that, and they're probably going to be experiencing blue tires the whole race, and a lot of slipping and sliding. So I remember the first time that happened to me, when I first started, you know, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and luckily I was in a race where it happened to a lot of people. We weren't as far along or advanced or knowledgeable, so I wound up getting advice from, like, you know, some people, and I'm like, my tires were ice blue, like, how could I get, what was I supposed to do, you know? It's that, it's those conditions are by far the hardest conditions to race in, when the track is damp or greasy. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Now, once you do nail your pressures and you get them down pat, then you're in pretty good shape. But
Yellow flag ahead. Watch out in front. Well done, mate. Personal best.
you never actually, like, when it's wet completely like that, you never actually get there, because there's always going to be like you see how the tires are completely green right now, they're heated up, they're exactly where, you know, where you want them to be. Basically, you got pretty much optimal grip. You can see at the top there's a little bit of blue shining through, because and that's how realistic this sim is. It's most likely because of the density in the air and how it's an overcast day. You'll see that, like, if you look at prior streams, they're all green, there's no blue shining through at all, and that just means that those three lines that you have in your tires right there, that's the outside, the middle, and the in, and you need them to be perfectly, you need those tires to be perfectly, basically even, so the footprint of the tire is laying down as much as it can on the road. So when you start seeing, and that's another thing that happens to some people, is that they start to, like I said, put their tire pressures up, and it's just really not what you want. Look at this pit entry. Look how crazy this pit entry is. That's what you'll see a lot of too, is people getting a stop and go because they hit the pit entry like that and they come flying in. Okay, so look, we were running on a full tank of fuel and almost not even a half a second off the pace. So again, we're not going to qualify, but let's get into this setup here and let's figure out what we need to do. So this is kind of good that we're doing this. Timmy, thank you so much for showing up, Tim. I actually said just before, I said that thank you so much for getting me the piece for the PC that we just ordered. And we're not going to leave console just yet. We're going to start our streaming up first, and then we'll go from there. But Tim, let me explain, because you just happened to probably pop in. I don't know if you heard the beginning. This race was supposed to be, and it could still happen that way. If you look up at the top where it says 10, 30, optimum, and then the track temperature, it's supposed to be drizzling, which makes the track conditions damp and greasy, where it's late rain, but you still need slick tires on and not wet. So if we come over here, you can see dry. They're all the same dry tire. So, you know, remember, 2 I have to keep on if I go back out, but I'm not going to go back out. I could even use these for qualifying if I wanted to, because you got to use 3 sets. So, let's go back to our tire situation though here, because our front tire was a little bit low. So what we'll do is, see how it says 27.4, where it says PSI hot to the left there? And then you can see the readings outside, middle, in, the OMI. So if those numbers are like drastically off, like if it was 70 and then the other number was like 90, you know that your tire is not wearing evenly. So that's a big deal. So that's why you got to have those 3 bars all pretty much level pretty much at all times, which in turn, when we talk about greasy or damp conditions, it's very hard to get your tires in that state. I hope for the sake of the race and to show everybody what I'm talking about, because we haven't had a damp race, a greasy race in a really long time, and it took me a really long time to figure out. But anyway, let's adjust these pressures a little bit so we're not too far off. We're at our mark. You see, when we're PSI hot, it's 27.4. So what I would do is, I know that the track will eventually cool down, so I'm going to go up to 26. I just really need 1 to make it 5, but I'll go up to 26.6. Here was good. I'll go up 1, go up 1, go up 1. So we'll make that in our pit stop too. 26.5, 26.3, 26.4, 6.4, 5.3. Pretty easy. Whoops. 6.4, 5.3. So you always want to match or anticipate that if the track is going to get a little cooler, you want to make sure when you actually do stop and pit that you actually have your tire pressures a little bit higher, you know? So let's keep that like that, and we'll save this setup like this. Which one was this? 21 Celsius, I believe this was. Yeah, this was 21 Celsius. Yeah, save. Okay. So now, yeah, that's saved in there. Our roll bar is there. Yeah, okay. So that's saved. But if you look at the difference here of where we're at here when we look at our tire pressures here, 26.6, 26.4, 26.5, 26.3. Okay, now the big difference is if it was greasy out or damp, the big difference is right here. The brakes that we're actually running would be 3, and then the brake ducts, which close air coming in to keep those heat in those tires, would be 0 and would be 1 on the front. So 0 at the rear, 1 at the front. Everything else stays the same, pretty much. Everything else stays the same. So what we need to do though is I need to actually save this like this, and this needs to be overwritten like that. Because that is what we're going to be doing for the pit stop. Start on tire set 1, pit stop 2. Oh. See, now pit stop 2 would be if I got, let's just say I had like damage off the bat, like right off the bat, lap 1, and I wanted to come in and pit. Well, obviously I don't need fuel. So instead, you could do that on the fly and tell it, don't give me fuel, don't give me tires before you come in and pit, but you want to make sure you have that ready to go. And then you could even get into something crazy where you say like, okay, during the race, maybe like 25 minutes into the race, it starts to rain. Well, you know what? So if it wasn't going to rain, we have dry tires here and we have them set up. But if it was going to rain, we could go to wet tires, you see? And we could say, and then we'd have to adjust the pressures here to make them at 29.7, which is kind of a guessing game if you don't know the conditions, but you could always opt to go to the wet. So on a cloudy day like this, it's not a bad idea to always set a wet setup as far as your tires go in your pit stop strategy. But we're not gonna do that today. We're gonna go with 0 and 1. Yeah, so start on 1, on 3. So Let's overwrite that. That's this one. Save, overwrite. Okay, so now we're all set up where we got our pit stop saved on 2 because we don't need fuel. And again, 2 would be in case I have damage. But I would have to turn off the tires myself when I come in the pits, which is easy. And then, like I said, you could elect to turn damage off too, not to be fixed. But okay, so now this is the qualifying session. So for me, I'm not going to really go crazy here with qualifying. And you see, you got to remember here, it always is trying to set you up on new sets of tires. You see the 3, how that's a brand new set, and then we get down to 1, that's a brand new set, but we'll go out on 2. So you know what? Since we're going to start at the back and we're not going to qualify, Vic, what's up, homie? That's our teammate, our team captain, Vic, in the house. Everybody, Vic is the one that makes all the awesome liveries in Gran Turismo. Unbelievable livery maker. So for our team, he's done such a good job over the years, man. So Vic is team captain. I know that I want to try and get Vic and everybody into ACC, but they're definitely still playing GTS, and they're holding it down for our team on GTS. So thanks, everybody. And that's another thing. So like I said, guys, this is the JSM championship. It's just an evaluation race. I'm going to start to go from last to first. I don't know if that's probably not going to happen, but we'll make some passes along the way. We'll ride behind some people. We'll make it exciting. And then, like I said, don't forget, we have the SFR ACC championship starting, but we have an event this Sunday, and then we'll have the championship that starts on the 6th of June. So Sunday nights will be ACC at 9 o'clock, and Thursday nights will be GTS that Vic will participate in, Spec 1, a few of our other team members. So now, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay on tire set 2. Okay, even though they're a little worn, I could go to 1 or I could go to 3, but like I said, since I know that I'm not really gonna qualify and I'm gonna start from the back, I'd rather have fresh tires to start on, and then fresh tires for the pits. Because remember, we could only use 3 sets. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna drop my fuel down to, say, lucky number 23. That'll probably give us, maybe it'll give us 7 laps or something. Now this stuff, you could get really crazy with it. It could, like, there's certain things that I do play around with the roll bars up front, your brake bias. I have a button on my wheel for that. The wheel rate, here, the bump stops here. There's just little minor changes that you make. Everything with this sim ACC is in increments. Like, once you get your tire pressures straightened out, then you really could be fast with, like, the most basic of setups. Like, you don't have to go crazy in here with stuff. And it's kind of cool, like, if you have enough time to practice. I started practicing with my rear anti-roll bar on certain tracks, and KYALAMI here was one of them. And once you start to feel the car and feel different things, then you could start, messing around with stuff. But honestly, if you just started here, you could start here, get your tire pressure straight, you could jump right into electronics, and on the safe setup, the TC comes on like 6, the ABS is 6, the ECU map is like 3, which is the fuel, the amount of power you're putting out, and then TC2 is really, just not to get too complicated, but TC2 is when it tells the second tire to cut loose. You usually want those numbers the same unless you're in the rain. But anyway, you could hop right in and just get your tire pressures down pat, and don't even worry about this mechanical grip and dampers. You could worry about ride height, your rear wing, and your brake ducts, depending on the type of temperature out and all that. And that's like some basic stuff. So yeah, I mean, you guys could get into that and, you know, really start right away, and it's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. And just the feeling of it, like, to me, the feeling is just so unbelievable. And like I said, we did buy a PC. Can't wait for that, honestly. But what we'll do is we'll wind up streaming, setting up the stream first, and we're not going to go anywhere on console. So we'll be on console still for a while. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
There's a slow car up ahead.
That was crazy. I don't know what he was going, or what's going on here with him.
Car on the right.
Okay, could be somebody new in the Ferrari, but like I said, guys, if it does wind up raining out and to get to those greasy conditions, it's going to be a very, very hard time for a lot of these drivers, honestly. But like I said, so the server is set on dynamic. You know, whoever owns the server, like we own our SFR one, whoever owns the server could set it up, and you set it up on dynamic weather, and you put a certain cloud cover so it's, you know, so it's a cloudy day instead of a nice sunshiny day. And when it's on dynamic weather, what the server actually does is so sophisticated, is that it tries to pull real weather from the real location. It could do that for you, or it could actually, when you put it on dynamic and you have like a base setup that you put it on, you really don't know yourself, even as the server owner, what's gonna happen. You don't know if it's going to rain. You don't know if it's gonna stay dry. So really throughout the whole thing, you have no idea. So that's what makes it pretty interesting as well. Now at some point,
Yellow flag in sector 3.
I'll have to slow down because I don't want to have a lap count. So I'll just slow down at like the last corner or something like that. This is what I'm talking about though. Through third gear here, you get a nice punch out to fourth, but initially in fourth you carry more speed. The Ferrari's planted right now. I was really going to start to try a new car, everybody. Like, I want to try the McLaren, but in so many ways it's kind of a similarity to the Ferrari. Low car, mid-engine, you know. The Ferrari, like I said, the Evo has the V8 twin turbo. But then, as Vic could tell you, and everybody that's seen me play GTS, the Aston Martin was my favorite car, and they actually have the old Aston Martin was a V10, a V12. I gotta go slow around here, so like I basically could assure myself that I don't run like even like a 148. I gotta do this because I don't want to. I gotta make sure that I don't qualify. I mean, nobody's running at 2 minutes. Are you kidding me?
Your fastest lap so far.
Are you kidding me? I'm in 10th place out of 2 minutes. All right, we gotta just get to the garage. Let's just get to the garage, guys. What we'll do here is let's take a look at Prozac. Alright, so he's in the Audi. You could hear the way that the Audi really screams. And the Audi is a car that could get a little bit twitchy as well. I've driven the Audi, so the Audi is a cool car, don't get me wrong. It's a different type of gearing than the Ferrari. The Ferrari is it revs higher and it extends the gears a lot more. The Ferrari. See how quick he's in third gear, fourth gear. It's close though. It's a close car. But let's take a look at the beast, the Bentley. Alright, we caught him at the beginning of his lap, so let's see if this Bentley has so much low-end torque, it's unbelievable. A little wide there. Look how he could run that curb over though, you see that? The Ferrari could run this inside curb over too, but see how quick the Bentley shifts? It's very low torque, kind of like the Vet almost in Gran Turismo, or in general, in real life. He doesn't really look like he's pushing 100%. Now the Bentley could run this left inside curb over. Let's see how much of it he takes. Doesn't take that much. Look at how much he takes to that inside curb there. I can't take that in the Ferrari, just can't handle it. But the Bentley, you see how big of a car it is compared to the Ferrari. You're on the other side driving. Let's go through the grid. Let's take a look. Anybody? Our teammate Jelson, Jelspeed's in the Porsche. Let's take a look at him. Porsche is a really cool car. Really hard to master. Once the car gets light on fuel. Oh, he hit that. Good save though, bro. He hit that last cheetah, that sausage curb. Could have been a lot worse for him there. Take a look at the Benz. This is the new Evo Benz. Hear the motors on these cars. Everything is like so realistic. The Benz is another one of those cars though that could be like a low torque car. So some of these turns you don't really need. So he really should be carrying third gear through there for more speed. Can even get away with second gear through here with the Benz. Maybe first, but. And he improved his lap. Good for him. Okay. I want to see a Mclaren. Let's get a Mclaren. Okay. Now the Mclaren, I really did want to run this car myself. It really sounds really nice. Listen to this thing. Tell me what you guys think of it. Listen. Oof. Listen to that thing pop. This is basically like the Ferrari, the same type of car. It's got a little bit of longer gears. This is the 750S, not the 650. So this is the newer version. Really good sounding. He's got to go down to first there. But this is his out lap, so he might just be trying to take it easy a little bit. And I think, guys, the only other car in the grid, we know what the Ferrari sounds like, obviously. The only other car in the grid is... he's got to be in first there. First. Get up to second. third. A little tighter than needed to be. See, that will invalidate his lap right there. But DNA Ons, he's a really good driver in GTS, and he's making his way over. So, last car we didn't look at was the GTR. So you can kind of see the inside of the GTR there. And yeah, so the GTR sounds pretty nasty too. So what I did though, guys, last little thing here that I'll show you is I can't really see it here. Unfortunately, we can't see it. I changed my helmet around. Let me see it in the mirror. No. Okay, well, we can't see it, but I got a new helmet, so I put a new helmet on my my guys. So yeah, guys, so I was really hoping for it to be damp and greasy conditions. I must have said that 100 times already, so I'm sorry, but we don't know. It's close up at the top, so you know, Jimmer's a really fast driver. So he's going for the gold tonight. I mean, Snake, 00 there is the one who runs JSM. He asked me if I minded starting at the back, and I don't, I don't mind at all. It's actually a pretty good challenge, and I like kind of getting close to cars and seeing what we could do. So this is a for fun race, and kind of try and put some pressure on the other guys. Now, what could happen though is that when we hit the grid right now, in a minute, all of a sudden it could start to rain, and if it does that, then I'm going to be happy, because then people are going to get called out. If it doesn't do that, we're going to be in the situation that we're in. Okay, see how it's greasy? Do you see how it just changed there now? So you see up top where it's greasy. The rain is coming, but it's barely coming, and the track is greasy. So now everybody that just went through their setups for that qualifying and that free practice, it doesn't matter. Now that will not work. So now what we need to do is we need to go to what I was talking about here, and you can see those cars getting put on the lift here. So now we have different pressures set, because we already experienced what this was like. We have different pressures here. That's all the same. Our fuel is less because we're not going to be running as fast, but close. Okay. The mechanical grip, this changed. The bump stops, I went down to 1 instead of at 2. The dampers all stay the same, but here's the big difference here. The brake ducts are at 0 in the rear and at 1 in the front. Okay? Now, I come over here and I show you that I'm on brake pads 3. So, actually, good thing I just looked at that, because I don't want them to change. Because if they don't match, they will swap them in the pits for you here. So let's get out on track, and let me show you what I'm talking about here. So you can see the rain coming, right? But it doesn't look like anything. But you see how it's coming on my windshield? So when we get back in the car, I don't even need a wiper, to tell you the truth. So you can see it a little bit, but I don't really need it.
Going single file.
Alright guys, while we're on this formation lap, I'm going to warm up the tires, and I'm going to get a drink here. Be right back. But watch how cold the tires do get. Okay, I'm back. So you hear that, guys? You hear the brakes? You can hear them now a lot more when they squeak, when they stop, and they'll even start to eventually start to turn. See that? See how the front's turning yellow? They're getting hot. That's what the brake pads 3 do, and the brake ducts being closed, that's what they do. So you see how the tires are blue, but they're starting to come to green, like a tealish. And if you look at my back tires, they're not even. You see? So the rear tires are going to take a little longer to heat up, and they're going to take a little longer to get the pressure the right way. So that's what I was talking about. I'm really glad that this happened, because I'm telling you that people are going to have major issues here. Snake. Look at how they're turning red. See how my fronts turn red? See that? So that's what a lot of people misunderstand here, is they don't. And look at, see, so there'll always be a little bit of blue. And what I could do to help the rears out is I could actually put my brake bias to the rear a little bit. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait, because I know that they will heat up. So you see how you have to have 2 pit stops, you know, worked out? Because it could be a problem otherwise. Now we're going to let these guys go, alright? We're going to let these guys go. We're not going to have any nonsense off the bat.
Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Alright, let these guys go through. Let them all make it. Go ahead. Alright. See, somebody's off already.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
A lot of stuff happening here, see? Gotta be aware. So, a lot of people, I told you, we're gonna get called out because they have their tires are probably ice cold blue right now. And this is a big learning experience. So we'll take it easy until our tires heat up. You see how the heat's starting to come in them? So we're getting there. Look, wow.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
A little deep, but we had to make that move. Mercedes really struggling for grip. Listen to the brakes. You hear them? Every time I start to brake, you can hear it. See how they're kind of bluish, but they're not. They're green too. If people didn't adjust their tires the right way, they're going to be all blue for them. And that's a major problem. Still got to be careful, because even though you guys can't really see it right now, you can't see the rain coming down, and I can't either, to tell you the truth. And it doesn't look like it's raining on the track, but it is actually raining. It's drizzling. So in the beginning, what you want to do is you really want to watch out for the curbing, like those big curbs that can normally be run over, and as the race starts to go on, the curbing will start to get piled up with water, you know, depending on how much rain actually comes down. but you guys could hear the difference in the brakes, and you could see it how they turn a yellowish red. That is what is keeping heat in my tires, and our pressures are on point. I bet you, I'd bet any amount that you look at some of the other guys and their tires are completely ice blue. And if they dare to have chosen wet tires, there's not enough rain. So let's look at this real quick. You can see my windshield? So it's getting wet, but we can't even tell that right now. And somehow we ran the fastest lap of the race. Like, and then you look at the leaderboard, by the leaderboard name, everybody's names, you can see the pit requirements. So there's a pit window, so we have to wait until the pit window opens, which is usually about halfway, 35-minute mark. And we need to take tire change. But like we always talk about, if you're going to take tires, it takes 30 seconds, and they can fill your whole tank of fuel up in 30 seconds. So you might as well take fuel as well, and that's exactly what we did, or what we're going to do. Now, the one downside to running your brakes like this, over a course of time, if it was going to stay these conditions for 2-3 hours, that would be a problem, because the brakes would need to be changed eventually. Jelson got a drive-through. See, I don't understand why some of these guys don't want to...
Car on the right.
They don't want to battle.
Clear on the right.
I would have followed him nicely. Yep, PSI looks good, cuz. Exactly, bro. That's the thing. I mean, even though it's getting a little bit hot now there in the fronts, we do have to worry about that slightly. And what I could do to help that out is get off the racing line a little bit. But once the track starts to cool down a little bit, it should even back out. See, there's a car just... They're just going to be struggling, unfortunately. Some of them might have got it right too, but even if you did get it right, like us here, it's still very hard conditions to race in because the track is still slick. You know, I mean, damp, it's greasy, so it's not ideal. But this is what I wanted to happen because I wanted everybody to see. Gave up that move there. So this Merc is gonna... Oh, Porsche. Oh, no. Hit that curb. That was what you call rip. Now I'm sure on Josh's stream, if you're looking at it and he's on my car at some point, it's gonna say it's not gonna have a windshield wiper on. But I could put that on manually if I wanted to, but oh man, oh man. Guy broke so early. I hope that didn't give us crazy damage. 14 seconds.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
I was looking at the damage, guys. I'm sorry. I gotta change the pit stop there. I don't know why it has my tires off, but wow. See, the Ferrari, when it gets hit in the front, you saw that little tap. That little tap to the front end on the Mercedes there, basically at a standstill, 14 seconds of damage. He broke so early. I'm just trying to read my pit stop here to make sure that that's okay. Tire set 3 is the new ones. What the hell happened to the pit stop there? I don't know why it was all messed up there.
On the driver ahead in sector 3.
Okay, let's go. Give Snake the high beams.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Man, this Mercedes is making me nervous, man. Alright, we gotta get around him, which we were already, but oh, actually we weren't. No, we got man, he brakes super early.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Gotta have the balls to outbrake, you know? One thing I do wish though is that like on the stream they could show you on the broadcaster's view what our tires look like, but they don't do that because they don't want people to see what pressures you're running, how much fuel you're running, that sort of thing. So
Car on the right. Fastest lap of the race. Great job, man. Clear on the right. Car on the right. Clear on the right. Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Snake the hazards for that because he's a, you know, it's all about racing side by side, you know, leaving each other enough room. That was a beautiful example of that. Beautiful example of that. I'll read the comments in a second, guys. I really want to know why my pit stop strategy got messed up, though. It should have been... Oh, Jelson's out of the race. What happened, Jel? Shoot. I saw you got a drive-through, bro. I saw you got a drive-through, but I don't know what. Why did you get a drive-through? Did you jump the? You didn't jump the start, did you? I'll have to read that again. Maybe I didn't read that the whole thing the right way. So you got hit. So you got hit, Gel, and you got a 20-second penalty. The penalties, I don't. But there's no live stewarding here. We don't have that on console. So I'm trying to wonder how the hell you got a penalty. But if you're looking, Gel, you see how my brakes are heating up like this. They're turned like a yellowish and then almost like a red when I really get on them. And you could hear them. That's from running pads 3 with slicks on and running in the greasy conditions. Now that's the thing I also like about having a manual wiper. Because if I had automatic wipers on right now, the wipers would be running and it would be bothering me. So I could do it like once to clear it off, but actually in real life they try not to use the wiper as much as possible because it'll get on your, you know, it gets your windscreen gets all screwed up. I gotta be careful not worry about this wiper here, but and just leave that thing off. But as you can see before, when I go to on the outside view of the car, you could see that the windshield is picking up water. Okay, we got a little bit of understeer there. And that's because of the tire pressures a little bit too. Not only is it wet out a little bit, but it's because the tire pressure's there. Well, you don't want those bubbles like I'm starting to get. It's really not that bad, but you just don't want them. Alright, let's hammer time. So really, like a fast lap around here is like 142s, 143s that we would be hitting on a normal pace. So with the little bit of water, 144s are feasible on lower fuel. Alright, there's a few cars right up there. I mean, not too far. Snake's doing a good job hanging in behind me here. Alright, see, now the pressures are starting to come down a little bit. You see, it's all about more water coming on the track. And I got to take it a little bit easier because I'm even doing this myself, where I'm trying to brake at my normal braking points, but I got to remember that I have a little bit of, the brakes aren't going to be as good as the other brakes would be, so you got to always keep that in mind too. Yeah, get back in, Joe. Get back in, man. Just run it, It's good practice. It's good practice, especially in these conditions, man. I told you, you're in the Porsche too, bro. The Porsche is a tough car. I mean, I can't lie to you there. You did good in qualifying, but put your brake ducts in the rear to 0, in the front to 1. And try, you can see how my tire pressures, use brake pads 3, and you can see how my tire pressures are basically where we want them. They're a little high, but it's just crazy because I'm used to braking so much later for that, so We'll see what happens after the pit stops, see who gets cycled through where. There's everybody's favorite Fafito in front of me. We're cutting his lead down too. A little bit wide there, a little bit wide. See, now that's the thing everybody has to understand too, though. Like, there's more water coming down on the track. So, you know, it is getting greasier and greasier. And, you know, but it's also getting rubber that, like I said, on the racing line, we're picking up that rubber that basically is like oil. So down like a straightaway or something, it's kind of smart to like stay off the racing line. You can almost see it in the distance where it's darker. So I'll show you what I'll do on the front straight.
Yellow flag in sector 1. Pit window is opening.
Because sometimes you just have to take the racing line. There's no two ways about it. But to cool my tires down, I'm going to come here and come off the racing line. Get off the racing line a little bit. Okay. Guys, this sim is it's just so realistic. It's just, and like, you really gotta feel it. I mean, you could actually, I know there's controller players out there too. So you could actually feel it through the controller, obviously not like a wheel, but even if you put the wheel on automatic, you know, without the paddle shifting, it's just the whole physics to the sim of driving you could feel. And gotta give a shout out to RWB Little Mac, who's in this race and who has raced with us at SFR for a while. He's an Army veteran who has he can only race with one leg, and he does do that. Actually, he races with one leg, and he's on a wheel. So really crazy props to Little Mac. Amazing. I've never seen anybody, though, do more than what Timmy does. Timmy, you're an inspiration, man. So, guys, it looks like we're running down Fafito here. I don't know if he's got some sort of damage or something, or he just didn't have a, you know, that setup. Like I said, it's all about that setup, man, when it comes to, you know. so he went in. So what we'll do is we'll react to him. Let's see, so we'll go in on this lap 23. See how it's still greasy? It's probably a smart move on his part because I probably will catch here a back marker. So I'll be catching the man we were just talking about. And that will slow me down a little bit.
Car on the left.
Thanks,
Clear on
Matt.
the left.
So that wasn't too bad. Could have been a lot worse.
We are halfway through. Keep it up.
No speeding in the pits. Okay, everything is on. Just click them down one each. Because we were getting a little bit, damn you. We were getting a little bit of some tight, some higher pressures. Be right back, guys.
Mandatory stop is now clear. Let's go, 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 go.
Alright, let's see. We didn't beat Fafito out. Actually, I just crossed the pit line there, so technically that's a penalty. Gotta stay within that white line. Even though the game doesn't dish it out for you, leagues can make up their own rules on that sort of stuff. Wasn't the best pit stop in the world, guys, because I didn't hit my marks the right way. Came up a little bit short. And we gotta let the pressures build back up. See, they're only at 27 right now, so the Ferrari, it does take a good, few laps to get up there. All right. Now, if we qualified, we could have really been doing some damage. But it's fun racing behind other people, you know. I mean, but you gotta really, you know, be super careful, because you saw how early the Mercedes guy broke right through here, and then like there was a lot of calamity off the bat. I'm just so happy that we were able to get these greasy conditions so everybody can see like my brakes, the way that they sound. You can see the redness light up in them.
The pit window is closing now.
We'll get one
Well done, mate. Personal best.
little wipe of the windshield there. Tell you the truth, I'm a little bit worried about fuel. If I have to, I could always go to engine map 2, but what do you think, guys? Can we run down third place? Probably going to be tough, but
Yellow flag in sector 2. Driver ahead in sector 3. Well done, mate. Personal fastest lap.
alright, yeah, we'll try. We'll try, cuz. Just keep it nice and steady for the last 22 minutes here. Try and nail him down. I mean, easier said than done. He's a pretty, you know, decent driver, so. Feel the grip of these tires here now. Putting faster laps in.
Well done, mate. This has been your personal best. There's There's a slow car up ahead.
Oh, looks like a back marker maybe. Say he was able to get around them, so this could throw things off a lot. Little flash of the high beams there. Thank you, sir. That's great race etiquette by Shark. Saw me giving the flashers. Now see, there's a lot more cars on the track, so that's another reason why the tires are getting a little bit out of the range, a little bit hotter than what I would like. As far as the pressures go, a little bit higher rather than hotter. We're cutting the lead down though.
Slow car ahead.
No, don't rejoin there. Thank you. Somebody just followed me. Oh. You guys can't see that message that popped up, but that was one of my teammates.
Well done, mate. Personal fastest lap.
Yeah, guys, I would say honestly, like, if we didn't start at the back, we'd have a solid, definitely be fighting for the lead. Come on, curva.
Fastest lap of the race, man. Good job.
Fastest lap of the race, ladies and gents. Ooh. Getting closer and closer each lap. I'm so excited that my cousin Bugs created a YouTube channel and is able now to comment. It's phenomenal. Okay, so we're definitely a little bit too high on pressures, but look at our consistency just build up too, because every lap we're just pounding out. In order to do that, you can't have like any off tracks. We're not really worried about that though right now. See, now there's a back marker that could affect us here, but it's all part of it. A little too deep.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
Oh man, he let him by right through there. Wow. That was a really good spot for him to let him by. Thank you, sir.
Clear on the right.
Oh. Oh, dude, come on.
Car on
Thank
the
you.
left.
Oh my
Clear on
god.
the left.
Oh, wow.
Gaining on the car ahead in sector 1.
Come on, baby, come on. Just stay patient. I actually hit the curb there a little bit, started to slide. Okay, so I could feel the tire wear a little bit now. So now, we gotta take things with a grain of salt. Start being smart. We're actually pulling in Jimmer too. Either way, we made up a ton of time, guys.
in sector 2.
Come on, baby, come on. Oh, he runs wide. Gotta be careful with that dirty air.
There's a slow car up ahead. Actually losing a lot of time behind them. His connection is laggy though, he's jumping. line to the car in front in sector 3.
Ooh. All right.
Slow car ahead. The leader has finished the race.
Look at that, guys. Look at that.
Alright, checkered flag. Good job. You did the best you could. Now bring the car back.
I tell you what, we almost caught Jimmer too there. That was a good race, guys. All honesty, that was a good race. We came really close. We did. We had a really, really close comeback. Prozac, congratulations to Prozac. Good job, man. You know what was happening though? What was happening was every time that we would get behind, we really had pace on Fafito through. I was worried about fuel, but fuel really didn't. I had enough fuel. We really had pace through here. So, yeah, I know. Thanks, cuz we definitely had pace on him. He's a fast driver. He is. I mean, Jimmer's a really fast driver. Prozac, you know, like we said. But yeah, to walk away from fourth like that after we had to go through basically starting last was that was a successful day. And you know, it figures, guys, that when nothing is on the line, like you know, like, yeah, we come into this race saying, yeah, we're just gonna, you know, try and see how people could battle. But nothing's on the line. No big accidents, you know what I mean? Like, like what the hell? Like, what the hell, man? So, yeah, it's just insane, guys. It's just insane. Whenever there's a real race on the line, it never works out the right way. It never works out the right way. So, I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah, exactly, Tim. Trying to run them down was fun, right? We actually came out of the pits. We were down 8 seconds, and then we wound up catching up. A few of those back markers in our way, but thanks, Bugs. Can't be 12th to 4th, of course. Yeah, you can't. You cannot. You cannot. So, you know what, guys? Like, that was really cool. I mean, that was fun. And if you listen close enough, you could hear the rain tickle down, tickle down, tickle down. Now, like I was explaining to you guys, though, I don't want to keep boring you with this whole same situation here, but when you run brake pads 3 like that, and you close your ducts, that's what happens when...
Green light, go, go, go.
That's what happens in these type of conditions. Now see, the server, now see, because it's mimicking like realistic stuff, when we first joined, there was no drizzle, there was no rain. But you can see right now, the clouds up top there, where it's the little clock, and then it says 10 and 30. It's drizzling now, but in 10 minutes it's going to stop, and then 30 minutes it's going to stop. So it would actually be, there wouldn't be rain. So, you know, those are the type of things that you really got to pay attention to. And once again, if I go to this view, you know, yeah, we don't see it here, but there should start to be rain coming on the windshield there. So all in all, that was a really fun race. I'm not going to get into a crazy thing with everybody here, but hey, can you guys hear me? Anybody hear me? Fafito. Hey, what up, man? How you doing, bro? How you doing, man? All right? Yeah, man, doing good. Good race there. Good race there at the end, man. The what? Your tires are on fire? I can't hear. I can't hear you too good, bro. Okay. I'll talk to you on Discord. All right, brother. Take it easy. Alright, we can't hear him that good. Plus, we don't want to stay in here and deal with all that. But, yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Of course, you know, it's always such a big help. Believe it or not, I'm not going to lie to you. I was practicing earlier. And, at like 8 o'clock, I was watching TV and I was dozing off. I was dozing off. And then I wound up getting, getting ready and doing it. Once I get involved, you know, I love it. So these are going to be the two cars moving forward, guys. So the green and the white we saw. Now check something out here. So you see the Evo is the 2020 that came out with the new pack. This was my 2018 Ferrari. This is the non-Evo, and this car's actually fast too, man. Like it's different than the Evo, but I was wondering, I was like, you know, maybe I should give this one a shot and see what happens here. But I really wanted to try out the Aston Martin. I really wanted to try it out. I tried it out a long time ago, but this is the new British GT pack that they added on here. So when we go looking for these cars here, it will give us the cars that, yeah, there's the British GT, and they even have my number there, so I wouldn't have to make a livery, but I would anyway. But yeah, the Aston Martin's pretty nice, but these are basically all the cars, guys. There's a few more too, but I wanted to try the Aston Martin, just to see about a different car, you know, just to see. There's not too many people that drive it, so I was thinking about that and thinking about seeing like where we wind up. But yeah, so you know. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Of course, this was really fun. It was definitely a fun race, so we'll have to definitely watch that again. I'd like to watch that back, and I'm sure it was pretty fun on Josh's stream too. But tomorrow we're gonna be at Paul Ricard. It's a really fast flowing track, but it's gonna be raining, steady rain, so we'll be needing wet tires for sure. So That will kick off at 8 o'clock for tomorrow night. So, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Timmy, Vic, Jell, my cuz Bugs. Love the fact that you got a channel, man. It's awesome. You can finally comment. It's so good. But yeah, so we'll catch you tomorrow night at Paul Ricard at 8 o'clock. That's for the SOP League, which is coming to a close. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the US part of that, what happens next there. But like I said, for moving forward, this was just the evaluation race. So moving forward, it's going to be flat out, no more evaluations, just a straight up championship. And then, like I said, we're going to have the same thing in SFR, but SFR is going to be on Sunday nights, and we have 3 events remaining for SFR before the championship starts. So, yep, we'll see you tomorrow night, and then we'll be back on Sunday night for SFR. SFR is at Mazzano, an Italian track, which we'll look to bring home the goods in the Ferrari. Alright, thanks again, everybody. And like I said, thank you so much for the support. Drop a like, it means a lot. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Thank you.